Good morning and welcome back to Fresh. I'm Julie Dilorenzo, your host for this segment, which of course is brought to you in part by the Elkhart County Living Magazine. It's a beautiful sunny day, a little warm. We're here at the city's Environmental Center here in Elkhart, and we're with Megan, and she is one of the office professionals here, and very educated on what we're going to talk about today, and that's rain gardens. But first I want to remind you guys about the magazine. Peg is not with us today. She's usually full of a lot of information for you, but one of the things I know about this magazine is you can pick it up at most of your local grocery stores, at your Martin's, your Kroger's. Most newsstands have it. It's a great addition to your home. A lot of information in there on what's happening in the county. There's the bi-monthly calendar, which tells you what's happening. Of course, in the area we have the Jazz Festival, we've got the 4-H Fair, a lot of things coming up here this summer, and that calendar will show you the weekends that it's coming, so it's a nice piece of advice there. There are only 6 issues a year, and it's only $12 for those 6 issues, so it's a great addition. You can go to maplecitymedia.com and you can click on the magazine there. You can look at back issues, and you can also subscribe right there online. And of course, we want to just show you one of the articles that's in the current magazine, and that is here from the Environmental Center on how to plant your own rain garden, and that's what we're going to talk about right now. Megan, I wasn't going to try to even say your last name, but you can let us know what that is.
It's Kolachik.
Okay, and you're here at the Environmental Center. You work along with Angela and Tim, and what do you specifically do here?
Well, my title is the Environmental Utility Coordinator, and I help try to promote some of the recycling and education and just environmental education in general.
And I know you guys are in the middle of some great summer camps here for the kids.
We are. We have our first week of summer camp. In July, we'll have 2 more summer camps for our 3rd and 4th, and then 5th and 6th graders.
Well, I think it's great that you guys educate kids at a young age on how important it is to take care of our environment and things that we can do to save on water, and that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about rain gardens. For someone like me that didn't even know they exist, what exactly is a rain garden?
A rain garden is basically an area which is a little bit more, it's a little depressed in the sense that it has a little shallow area for our runoff from like our parking lots and our roofs and that kind of stuff to go and to collect that water. The plants in it will then absorb a lot of that water, help clean and filter it out, and in the long run help protect our groundwater supply.
Well, I know in the article that you guys wrote there's about 5 steps or so in getting ready for the rain garden, and one of them is about picking out the right spot. And so let's tell folks where they would probably want to put that rain garden.
Well, we want to find a spot in your yard that isn't necessarily right up against your house. You don't want that water to be right up against your house to go into your basement or into your crawl space. But you would want to find a spot in which you could drain the water quickly too. You wouldn't necessarily want to pick a spot where it's necessarily wet after the rain, because that probably indicates that the water in the soil there isn't allowing the water to go through very well.
So no place where there's standing water.
Right. We want it a little bit further away from that. And then if that's one of the best places, we'd probably want to amend some of that soil to help it.
Okay, so you found your spot, and now you need to dig your rain garden. Is there something specific the way you dig the garden?
We kind of want to make almost like a saucer type of a garden. So it'll be, you'll want to dig it down so it's about 4 to 8 inches deep or so, kind of shallow sides. Depending on how big and wide you want your overall garden, it's going to be kind of change around how deep it is. But we'll dig it down, have nice gradual sides on either side.
And then is there something you need to do to now prep what you've dug to make good drainage?
Yeah, we want to add, a lot of the soils in this area may have sand in it, but we want to make sure there's a lot of sand or gravel in there, because that'll help with some of that drainage, and that way we don't have standing water in that garden for 2, 3, 4 days.
And not to be confused that just because it has good drainage, means that it's going to be dry.
Right. It'll hold that water, and those plants that we're going to plant in there in a bit will actually help absorb some of that too.
Well, that was my next question. So what plants do you want to put in your rain garden?
Well, here at the Environmental Center, we have all native, and that's probably going to be your best choice. Native plants are local to Indiana and are used to the conditions that we have here. But like our blue flag iris, our blue vervain, We have bergamot, and a bunch of our natural, really pretty wildflowers are in here.
Well, and some of them are starting to bloom behind us. I see the lilies, and of course we've got your gentleman there that's overlooking the rain garden, so he's keeping a good eye on things. But it looks like, and I was asking you earlier, now when fall hits, do you cut all of these back? And you say not necessarily that you guys do it, but you could.
You could, yeah. If you don't want some of those big pods in the air, I would wait though until it gets pretty late into the year. That way, any of the birds who want to get like the purple coneflower seeds, they can get those and have them pretty well picked apart.
That's a good idea too. It's fun to watch those. Okay, last thing, let's keep the soil moist, and one thing that will help is mulch.
Right. I would put a couple inches of mulch on top. You want to make sure it's a local mulch, and you want to make sure you're using a mulch that hasn't had any treatment in it. So you wouldn't want to just grind up treated lumber, for example. You'd want to make sure it was just a natural bark or wood chip.
And speaking of treatment, I know in the article it says not to fertilize, and that must go along with not buying treated mulch. So why is that?
You don't want to add extra chemicals. Like we talked about earlier, this water is going to eventually go down into our groundwater, and we don't want to be drinking that fertilizer. But it's also going to help promote some of the growth of the weeds, and then all you're really going to end up doing is spending more time weeding.
Well, something else that goes along with a rain garden, and we talked about our rain barrels, and that's something that whether you have a rain garden or not, would be a really neat idea to put near a downspout and use to water your plants and such.
Yeah, rain barrels are a wonderful way to capture that water and save it for when you do have longer periods of dryness, and then you can just pull out the hose and put it right into your garden, whether it's your rain garden or your vegetable garden, a flower garden, or anything like that. Probably
some good nutrients since it came right down out of that sky.
That's right. And then we're saving some energy too because we're not pumping that water up from the ground.
Good idea. Well, one last myth that we want to bust, we're the Mythbusters here today, is that the rain garden is not going to create mosquitoes.
No. The water, if you have proper drainage, and you have that sand or the gravel in there, and the water is draining within a day or two, mosquitoes aren't going to have the chance to breed and lay their eggs and have successful new mosquitoes come and bother us.
Yeah, baby mosquitoes. Well, listen, you have some great information. I'm sure this is something that a lot of people are interested in doing. I know they can probably get some information if they call you here at the Environmental Center. What's that number?
Our number is 293-5070.
And do you guys have a website with maybe some information on the rain gardens?
We do. We're part of the City of Elkhart's website, and ours specifically is www.elkhartindiana.org/EEC for
the Elkhart Environmental Center. All right, good. Well, thank you so much. I'm glad that you came out and talked to us today about rain gardens. It's always something interesting here at the Environmental Center. So stay tuned. We'll be back in a moment after this short break.